Welcome back to Eduwell. In this episode, we're talking about life edits, the small, intentional changes that help us streamline, simplify, and make room for what actually matters. We're sharing some of our favorite edits that have made our teaching and our home lives easier, calmer, and more efficient. Let's dive into the well. Welcome to the Eduwell Podcast, a show created for, by, and with teachers. I'm Alex.
And I'm Chelsea. Our goal is to share insights and connect with fellow teachers on how to thrive both personally and professionally.
Join us as we dive deep into the well of information filled with relatable tips, practical discussions, and ideas that go way beyond the classroom walls. Let's be well
and do well together.
Okay, Chelsea, well, we've talked a fair bit about expectation inflation, and we've talked about that just sitting around a table, and we've talked about that in the podcast. And as expectations grow on us at home, at work, and just in general in life, it's an overarching theme. You know, we've talked about the only way that we can protect our time and energy and, our health is to be really thoughtful about what we keep, what we tweak, and what we let go of, aka the life edit.
Yeah, exactly. With all of these growing expectations, that really gets me thinking about what I need to remove and what I need to do to just save time to make sure that I have time to do the things that we all need to do at home and at work. So we are going to go back and forth today on our favorite life edits right now. I feel like these change all the time, where you're getting a new life edit or then you're editing that life edit. So we're going to talk about our favorite ones today when it comes to school and when it comes to home. So I'm going to start this off. One of my favorite life edits is streamlining my prep. This is not just about photocopies, but it's about all of the resources that I need for the week. So I'll take 1 or 2 preps a week to really make sure I know what I'm doing for the next week. So I gather up my handouts, my worksheets, my activity sheets, anything I might use in class, but then I organize them into daily folders. This is kind of new for me this year. I'll organize what I need into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on, and keep them on or near my desk so they're very easy to grab. I know that seems pretty basic, but it is a real time-saving hack for me. So here's why this little system is a game changer. I walk into each day already set up. No scrambling to photocopy, no paper jams, no searching for what I need in the middle of a lesson, which I have done many times in the past. And if something doesn't get used on a particular day, then I bump it to the next day's folder. So it's very easy and it's no stress. The other thing about this is that if there's a day where I unexpectedly can't come in, I'm sick, it's really easy for me to set up my plans for an occasional teacher because all of the resources are right there. So this life edit doesn't just make my mornings calm and organized, it actually gives me mental space and a lot of reassurance. So that's why I love it.
Very interesting, because as a visual person, as you're talking, I am picturing my daily constant walks back and forth to get resources that I have left in another room or that I will be needing. And I mean, I get a lot of steps in doing this. And when you are able to eliminate the transitions, you also eliminate, and this is kind of not good, conversations in the hallway with your colleagues, someone coming up to you and asking you for this or that, or a student talking to you. You can put yourself in that a quiet space and have it be done. You're just really minimizing all that time that is wasted with the back and forth. I really enjoy some of that back and forth if it's, if I have time, but how often do I really, really have time? So that's what I'm seeing, Chelsea, is you're eliminating that piece, and it's a huge time saver.
Yeah, you're right. And, I like your silver lining with getting your steps in. That is great. But honestly, when you do this, if you do have to go into the hallway and you get into a conversation, you're not as anxious to get out of that conversation because you have everything ready on your desk prepared. So you're eliminating that decision fatigue and that extra anxiety that comes with using every single second of your day.
Oh, I gotta just tell you, it reminds me of when I waitressed, and it was like the saying was full hands in, full hands out. And, how using the moves that you make and the time that you have extra wisely. That's just a little mini tip. I'm adding a mini tip to your tip.
That's what we're doing. That's the agenda for today. I like that. Keep them coming.
Okay.
Okay, what do you have
Thank
for me?
Well, this is ironic. My first one I thought of last night as I was popping my popcorn, which is my new thing. Like, of course, I love my chips and dip that I have with carrots because I like to chomp, but also popcorn does that for me. So the popcorn takes 3 minutes in the microwave. And I noticed about a month ago that I had started using that 3 minutes to very specifically do a task in the kitchen to improve the kitchen. Now at night, the kitchen is tidy. The kitchen is done after, it's like it's closed, but I look at it with a critical eye, like what's been building up. Like, I typically have, like, let's say tortillas on the counter in a bag. Why are they there? Why are they in the visual line? I look in the fridge and I see, is there anything that really should now be thrown out? And I use those 3 minutes to continually improve that space to make it a more efficient space. And I have really found that those 3 minutes have elevated my kitchen. So there's my tip. It's called use your prep pockets. So you can use your prep pockets at school because a prep pocket might be introducing itself when the students are quietly working. What can you do during that time that saves you more time later? Yeah, the coin it. Prep pockets inspired by, wait for it, popcorn. Alliteration.
Wow.
Thanks.
Alliteration once again. Prep pockets. I love it. And here's the weird thing about that. I don't know what you're bringing to the table today, and you don't know what I'm bringing to the table today, but my next one goes perfectly with what you just said, because my life edit is one that's ongoing. And honestly, it's been one of the most helpful and effective habits I've developed. It's simple, and it starts with 2 questions I ask myself all the time. Why is that there, and what is it used for? So you can use this in a couple of ways. Sometimes it's part of a big declutter, or you can use it in those little pockets of time. You've got 3 minutes. So first of all, you're setting yourself a timer, which is another great strategy to use in the classroom, which we've talked about before. Setting a timer really holds you accountable for doing the things that you need to do. Prep pockets, is that right?
Yes, prep pockets.
Thank you. Prep pockets. Okay,
You're
love
welcome.
it. So teachery. So yeah, this is a part of my daily maintenance. So asking those 2 questions regularly, what it does is it helps me avoid having to do that big, overwhelming clean out later. Here's what it kind of looks like. I might notice a candle burned right down to the wick, but the glass jar is still sitting there. It's just been left there. And I literally ask out loud to myself, which I know sounds kind of ridiculous, but I don't care. I say, why is that there and what is it used for? And if I cannot answer the question quickly, or if the answer is nothing, then it's gone. I get rid of it. But if the item still has a purpose, I keep it or I move it somewhere that actually makes sense for it to be. So you know how we were talking about everything has its place, which I learned from one of my teacher friends. So I do this with so many little things because you know those little things can pile up over time in the classroom and at home. Right now I'm thinking of a broken globe that I have on the shelf in my room that I need to do something with. So I ask those questions and that makes me take action.
I'm loving this one, but here's a little bit of a personality difference right now because I believe that you can be very black and white just based on the way that you shared that story.
Yes.
And the second you talked about that candle, do you want to know what I said? Well, what if it's sentimental? And it really bothered me. And I was like, what if your mom or like dad gave it to you and it has a smell that's of camp and it's special to you. So that's one of my barriers to finding, the really amazing success is that I have an emotional connection to a lot of those things. And that's the challenge, I would say, for a lot of people, even, or also a, waste not, want not attitude, right? But those questions that you're using, Chelsea, those guiding questions that you said, what were they again? One was,
why is that there and what is it used for?
And what is it used for? And I will add to that, and this is from the KonMari, and we've talked about that in the past, is, does this spark joy? Or does it cause me stress? Because there are things in my classroom, for instance, like let's say, I had a really good idea. I presented it to the students. We moved forward with it a little bit and then it kind of fizzled out. And it's sitting there in a corner waiting to be reflected on as a class or given feedback as a class. But every day it stares up at me and says, you're a failure. And I need to sometimes find a way to either just completely get rid of that and be a process with the students, of course, but also just or deal with it, right? Those things that are those little thoughts in the back of your head that just annoy you. And I will share with you that since I've started letting some things go, the space does feel different. And I am really big into the space. Now, my partner in crime, who I share a classroom with, he may not know this, but the truth is I have tried really hard for his sake to stick to keeping things clean and streamlined. I really have. I hope he's noticing. But he's like,
I'm sure he
next
is.
level. Oh, I'm sure. Okay.
Okay, no, I'm going to go back to what you were bringing up there about how you feel like you need to go back to something all the time in the classroom.
Yeah.
I think that is something that we can all relate to, where it's in your head where you're thinking, I need to go back to that. We need to address this again. But the kids have just totally forgotten about it. It's more of like a you thing. And I've been there too. And then I just go, you know what? Nope, I did a good job on that. I'm going to move on. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to take those chart papers down now and move on to something else. That is okay. That is okay to move on from that. I know what you mean though.
Yeah, it served its purpose. The learning was there and maybe it wasn't. And maybe that's where the learning came in, is that, well, that went over like, a lead balloon, and that's life. So
yeah,
I mean,
sometimes you just leave it too long and you just can't go back to it.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this is my next one. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Okay. This one has a story attached to it. So the other day I was having to make schedules, and I was making schedules for a guest speaker. I was looking at the vertical dates that were given to me, 3 months worth of dates with varying timeframes within those dates. I was looking at the schedules of colleagues' schedules, other people's schedules, and I was looking at calendar and everybody else's, things that are going on within the school community. And I'm, your eyes are going back and forth and back and forth. And it takes just a great deal of focus, like not deep brain work, but like you have to really look at things and be focused. And I got to a point, I did a really good job for a long time. And then I got to a point where like I was stuck and I couldn't solve the most basic problem. And my eyes kept on shifting and it wasn't working out anymore. So that created my next tip. And this one is really important. It's called step away and reset. I went for a little like move around. I went and had a quick conversation and I let it go. And I said to myself, you might not get to this again until Monday, and that's okay. But sitting here wasting time thinking your brain is magically going to start being efficient again and that you're going to be able to focus on this and that your eyes aren't going to be sore anymore, it is not going to happen. So let it go. And so for me, I go back to the time saving in that. Sometimes we just keep on trying to do something in the same way that we go back to that project and it's done. You don't have any more to give. You've put in the time and the effort, and you pause, you reset, you step away, and then you come back to it at a later date and you do something more efficient. And one more thing to add. I find when I'm doing brain work that is challenging or brain work that requires a lot of focus and I do it for a long time and it stops working, to do something physical within your job or within your home instead, where it's like you move this, you move that, it's efficient, it kind of breaks up, I don't know, just your way of being for a bit and allows you the reset. So that is my tip. I don't know, it's not alliteration. Step away and reset, rethink and reset. I don't know.
No, I like your name for that. But I think it's emotion based is what it is, because when you're doing things like that, it causes frustration. And I think this is something that we see in our students on a daily basis and in ourselves on a daily basis. You're looking at something, you're experiencing frustration, and you first have to work through that emotion so that you can come back to your task with a fresh perspective. And it's something to pay attention to. It is that awareness piece where we're bringing awareness to our students and also to ourselves. So I think that's a great tip. Step away and reset.
Thank you, Chelsea.
And you'll find success. No, it's so true though.
Well, it's going to get done, right? And it's just like with life, how we talk about, work and home life, and rest is an important part of being able to go back and give your all at work. It's like a micro version of that, like within one task. Working on it. A break is a necessary part of the process to be able to fulfill a responsibility and a joy of it to the best of your ability. That's kind of how I'm conceptualizing it.
Yeah, making space for brain breaks, another thing that we do every day, especially with our students, but for ourselves as well. And I'm thinking like the big idea of this whole episode almost is to eliminate that frustration or that overwhelm. Why are we doing these life hacks? So that we can make that space for ourselves, so that we can get that rest and the breaks that we need to reset and approach all of the tasks that we need to do. So my third one does just that. This is one of my favorite life edits, and I have already mentioned it on the podcast before, and I call it lesson lineups. Oh, there we go. Alliteration. Did that for
wow,
you?
That was great.
Didn't even notice.
Lineups.
So these are basically lists of all of the lessons that I teach, and they're organized in the order that I do them. So every list that I have of the lessons has the links and resources built into it. And it's all in one document. So for example, lesson 1 for drama class might be the mirror activity. And right there in my doc, I've got the link to my teacher notes, a quick how-to video, and any materials that I use. Lesson 2 might be called reverse charades. And again, the slides are linked, the info sheet is scanned, and it's all right there. So it's like a digital binder, but it's just so much easier to find things and access things. I've built these lesson lineups for a few subjects now, and honestly, they save me so much time. I am not hunting through Google Drive or scrolling through tabs and trying to find what I need. Everything is just one click away. But here's the edit within this edit, because we're doing that on this episode too.
The plot thickens.
I used to always have these lineup docs, because I'll have a doc for drama, a doc for language, a doc for health, etc. I used to have them all open across my screen. But I had a teacher candidate in last year, and she taught me about tab groups. You can group your open tabs together by topic or subject, and you can give the group a name, and you can even color code them. So when you're not using the tabs, you just click the group and it tucks everything neatly away into one tab.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. Now look up at your tabs right now. How many tabs do you have open?
I only have 4 tabs open right now.
Oh my, she just did a mic drop moment there, because I probably have like 50, and you know what it looks like, right? You have to click. Which one is it? I've got 6 docs open. And then do you know how much, again, to time wasting?
Exactly.
Right?
It's more flitting.
It's flitting. So in looking for efficiency, because, we can be pretty efficient on the computer, there are such inefficiencies and time wasters. I mean, we could start talking about the report card episode where we went into finding efficiencies and how much time you and I both have wasted flitting around just looking for things. And that's such a time waste.
Such a time waste.
When you were talking, I was visualizing like a table of contents. So you have like a digital table of contents.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What a fantastic idea. And now I'm going to ask you a question though.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you have your lessons listed, do you ever play the jump game? Like sometimes there's something that's really relevant that the students are interested in, or you've had great success with something, and you have another topic that might be paired nicely with it. Like, are you rigid with yourself, or can you switch up the order of your table of contents / lesson lineups?
Actually, for the big subjects like language, it's a grid format.
Why did I ask? I'm feeling like a diminished human being.
We're on the same page here.
We're on the same page, but we're not, because I won't make this happen for myself. Like, I'm like, this is a great idea.
You have to build it. It takes a little bit of time, but you build it.
That's amazing. That tab tip is excellent, and you're gonna have to show me that.
Oh, well, it makes your computer look just a lot more neat and tidy. It's really awesome. So thank you, teacher candidates.
All right, I've got one more, and I'm gonna share a story with you. And the tip is, well, I think I'll share the story first, and then I'll share the tip. Okay?
Okay.
Is that reverse? Okay. On the weekend, I was trying to like get everything in my life, the different pockets of my life organized. So I had my grid list that I do. It's a grid list. And, I have it organized into different areas of my life. And in the home part, I had found an old bank card of mine in my pocket of a jacket that I hadn't recalled wearing for a long time. And I thought, oh, I should have cut this up. This is my expired card. I'd had an expired card. And so I put it down, and that task made it on the list. Like literally because I wanted to check something off and be like, done, cut up card. Okay, so anyways. So it was a weekend. I had a lot on my list, big things, little things, things that stressed me out, things that were like that are just snippety snip. Oh, I get to highlight and be done. So anyways, one of the things was talk to my sister on the phone, and I had a really nice phone conversation with my sister. She's, just a great human being. And we're talking, and she's like, by the way, I'm going to need my bank card back. And I had no idea what she was talking about. And I was like, I just had like a moment of like, do I tell the truth in this moment? And I was like, I cut it up. I found a bank card in my pocket. And I thought it was my expired bank card. And I just cut my sister's bank card into shreds. I'd forgotten that we'd been at a football game. And she'd asked me to go grab her something. And I took her card and I went and I did it. So anyways, it was, So I right away, like I completely owned it, but I also just had to laugh. I'm like, I'm so sorry, completely my fault. Anything I can do, like you can have my, here's money, in the meantime, because this is going to cause you stress. But she was able to laugh about it because it's funny. It really is funny. And I was able to laugh about it. And I want to be clear, I have people in my life who would not be laughing about that. I do. And they're fantastic and I love them, but they might be a little bit frustrated with me because sometimes, I don't know, you make mistakes and that's a big mistake that causes stress. I have people in my life who've only ever had one bank card. I'm not one of those people in life, but anyways, yeah. So you have to be able to laugh about it. And there's going to be days in life where you can't laugh, where that moment, could be the last straw and you get really upset about it or get really upset about the way things are going at school or in your class. And unfortunately, you could have weeks or months like that. But as an overarching, to be able to laugh at these things that are not going to matter on your deathbed, that really aren't going to matter in, and we've talked lots about the 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years, is it going to matter? And to be able to not take things too seriously can make life feel more fun and joyful. And to just be able to, just not take yourself and everyone else so serious all the time.
Laughter fills your well.
Oh, yeah, I feel like we've both shared some tools that can be used to expand the well, maybe do some landscaping around the well, and you take what you will and leave what you don't want to continue to fill the well.
Gives you a little time to sit around the well and just enjoy it.
The trickle, yeah.
The drops. Okay, all right, that's enough of that. Let's get into the takeaways. 3 takeaways on life edits. I'm going to start with number 1. Little changes go a long way. We say it all the time, but it's a big deal. You don't have to overhaul everything. Just tweak one thing that makes your days smoother. Small edits add up in a big way.
2, know your why. Before changing a system or routine, ask yourself why you're doing it. If it saves time, stress, or energy, it's probably worth keeping.
And 3, keep it ongoing. Life edits aren't a one-time thing. You'll keep adjusting them as life and teaching change. And that's the point. It's all about finding what works right now.
Thanks for listening to the Eduwell podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend, subscribe, and leave a positive review. It helps others to find us.
Follow us on Instagram and Pinterest to help spread the word. For more inspiration, tips, and book recommendations, just head to the show notes and join the Eduwell newsletter today. Until next time, be well
and do well.